In this video, you guys are going to learn about how to swing up with a driver. So if you guys have ever wondered how to do this properly, and if you struggled to hit it with your wrist, or you're trying to keep all your weight back on your trail foot to hit up on it, well, this video is here to inform you on what you should be focusing on and what your body should be doing. Let's get into it. When I talk to people about hitting up with the driver, most people will kind of tell me that they're trying to hit up on it by kind of releasing a little bit earlier with their wrist, or if they don't even realize they're kind of putting all of their weight way on their trail foot in an attempt to really swing up on it as much as possible. Yes, we want to hit up on driver, but not as much as people think. We actually want to swing the club fairly level with the ground. We don't need to swing the club up like 8 degrees or something crazy like that. It just has to be fairly level to the ground, maybe 1 or 2 degrees up, which is not a whole lot. Before we get into the movement, I want to talk about the setup position, because the setup position is really going to encourage us to swing more level or just slightly upwards on the ball. So the first thing from the front view with the driver is obviously the ball position. Okay, now everybody in the past has heard, okay, put that ball position kind of on the inside of the lead foot. Well, there's a bit more, something more specific than that. Yes, it has to be inside the lead foot, but when you get into your setup position, okay, the ball position should be kind of more so in line with the lead shoulder. So now the reason it's in line with the lead shoulder is because when you make a swing and you try to get to impact, the goal is to try to get your lead arm and the club shaft in a straight line at the moment of impact. If that's the goal, we don't want the ball position so far back in the stance that by the time we strike it, the shaft's going to be leaning forward. Okay, that's going to make you hit down on it. Reversely, we don't want it so far forward that it's kind of ahead of the lead shoulder, because then you're going to actually swing. Yes, you might swing up on it, but you're also going to swing more across it. Okay, so that means you're going to encourage the path to get more over and across the ball, which is again going to cause you to swing more down on it. So ideally, we want that ball position to be in line with the lead shoulder after you've gotten yourself into position. Okay. Number 2 is the stance width. So you need to make sure that it's a little bit wider than your shoulder width. Once you combine the ball position more forward and the stance wider than your shoulder width, that is going to get your head to sit naturally more behind the ball at address. Number 3 is, if you look at my posture, if I'm standing straight up, I'm actually going to be a little bit more tilted to one side. Okay, you can kind of see what I've done with my hands, right? Put it kind of to the side. I'm just lowering my trail hand just a little bit, not by much, just very slightly. And that's kind of where I'm positioning my body. And this pretty much is all the main points to look for from the front view. Just one point here from the side view now, okay, is to ensure that you stand a little bit further away from the ball, okay? So we know with an iron, right, typically your hands and arms are going to be resting directly below your shoulders, but with a driver, because it's much longer, you're going to want to get your hands to be a little more outside of the shoulders at address, okay? So that's also going to give you a lot more room or space to be swinging that club through impact as well. And the last thing is we have to make sure that your body is still parallel to where you're aiming the face. So we don't want to set up like this with the shoulders pointing really, really far left. Okay, we got to make sure that you square up. That means you get your shoulders and your hips kind of feeling more closed, just so that your forearms are parallel with your feet, your shoulders are parallel with your feet, and also parallel to where you're aiming the face. So that's going to set you up very nicely to kind of turn correctly, and also be able to kind of get your body to bend the way that we want to, so that you can hit up on the driver. Okay, so now it's time to talk about the actual movements involved, or the movements that you guys should be focusing on if you want to hit up on the driver. The first thing, there's only 2 things primarily. Okay, so number 1 is where your head is positioned relative to the ball, and the movement of your lead shoulder kind of through impact. Okay, so the best way I like to kind of explain this is to kind of demonstrate this with using like a very light kettlebell. Just imagine you're trying to swing this kettlebell and you're trying to propel this kettlebell or swing this kettlebell as far as you possibly can, okay? Now, when you watch me kind of swing it back and forth, you'll kind of notice, if you look at my head and my lead shoulder, that's kind of where I want you to be looking at. And you can see what my head does relative to the ball, okay? And you'll notice that as the kettlebell, the weight goes through impact, my head goes backwards just a little bit, and my lead shoulder kind of moves upwards and back behind me. When you're swinging like a weight and you're trying to propel it forward, what's more efficient, or the most efficient way to do that, is for your body to bend back, your head to look like it kind of falls backwards, and that lead shoulder go backwards as the weight and your arms kind of move forward. So it kind of happens, like two things happen or move in opposite directions, right? Now, my weight still goes to the left, okay? So I'm not leaving my weight behind and doing it, even though it's possible, okay? But you can kind of see my weight is still going left, but very quickly my head is bending back, or my body is bending back, and my lead shoulder is also kind of moving up and around me. That's kind of what you'd want to feel like, but with a driver in your hand. Your head has to stay behind that ball, and that lead shoulder has to move up and back around through impact. If you can do that, then you should be able to keep your lead arm straight as you're doing that, okay? So you can kind of see if I'm holding this kettlebell and I'm going back and I'm trying to propel it forward, you can kind of see, as long as my body bends back, I'm still able to keep that lead arm pretty straight through impact. So now when I actually go grab the driver, you can kind of do some small swings first, okay? But just getting in that position, and you can kind of see you're just swinging that weight back and forth, right? You're kind of feeling as the club goes past, your head goes backward. And when the ball's there, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to hit the ball into the cupboard here, but you can kind of see as that lead shoulder goes up and back, I can still keep my lead arm straight. And I'm still not going to drive the club into the ball. I'm actually going to swing it up and away from the ground. So on the screen right now, I'll kind of show you a front comparison of me doing a small swing, okay? Doing it kind of incorrectly, where I'm treating it like very much like an iron too much. I'm not bending my body back, and I'm kind of using my wrist to hit up on it, versus me still allowing my weight to go forward. But just like I was demonstrating before, you can kind of see as I slowly get into impact, right? My lead shoulder goes up and back behind me, and my head kind of moves backwards just a little bit as the club goes forward and through impact, okay? And because I'm doing that, right, just because I'm bending my body that way, you can still see I can keep my lead arm still extended kind of through impact. I don't have to bend it at all, okay? So really making sure that your head kind of feels like it maybe moves back behind the ball more, and then making sure that your lead shoulder continues to move up and around you through impact is what's really going to allow you to hit upwards on the driver without really manipulating the club with your wrist or things like that. A great little exercise that you can do to help you kind of feel out these movements and to ensure that you are actually hitting up on the golf ball is, I'm just going to use this line, okay, just to signify where the ball would be. Now, I put this box here, okay, and wherever the ball is, you want to place that box maybe just over a foot away, okay, or in front of where the ball is, okay, and it's raised, okay, so it's a raised object, and the purpose of that is when you actually go to make a swing, I want you to just do your takeaway, but I want you to leave the club on the ground. Now, what I want you to do is you still want your weight to go left. I want you to drag the club along the floor, but as you raise this lead shoulder up and back, and your head goes a little bit backwards, eventually the club will kind of come more and more away from the ground, so eventually you'll miss that box through impact. So you can do this without the ball first, but as you place it behind, you're going to drag, pull that left shoulder up, head goes back behind, and you'll see that you can kind of keep your lead arm straight as well, and you can still swing up on it to avoid that box. Now, obviously, if you're dragging it and you weren't pulling this, you'd probably touch the box or smack it. So you really want to feel this lead shoulder going up and back so that you avoid that box. Now, when you do place the ball there, you can actually hit the ball while at the same time missing or trying to avoid that box at the same time, okay? So that'll kind of make the movement small, so you can focus on those two things, head going back or moving a little bit backwards, lead shoulder moving up and back. Then you'd want to do it maybe with a bigger swing, okay? And then eventually a full swing. Make sure you focus on these two things the next time you practice, just so you can really hit up on it properly. And also take note that your weight still goes left, okay? My weight isn't hanging back on my trail foot. My weight still goes to the lead side, but because I'm bending my body backwards quicker and a lot more in comparison to an iron, I can pull that lead arm up or the club away from the ground, and I can swing more up on it. Hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below.